Hey, I'm Nick from Kinetic, and thanks for checking out our series on the floor. Like as usual, we're talking with brokers about just some advice and best practices. And today I've got Gunnar from 12 Point Logistics. Gunnar, thanks for being on, man. Do you want to do a quick intro?
Yeah, man. Hey, thanks for having me on. My name is Gunnar Miller. I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee, currently the Vice President of Sales at 12 Point Logistics. We're a company that is in our fourth season. We went from, zero in revenue to about 1 million that first year to climbing to about 25 million this year. We got 17 people on our team. I've got four members to my sales team that I manage daily. And yeah, man, been in logistics since 2014 and happy to be here.
Yeah, man. No, thanks for being on. I mean, we got to know each other over the past couple of weeks, and like I'm super excited to talk to you about this. And we're going to talk about outside of the box sales techniques today. And I think it's something that's really important for brokers because it's so tough to stand out sometimes. So, I mean, like, I'll just throw it over to you. What's worked for you from an outside of the box standpoint?
Yeah, any guy that's in sales is going to read the books, right? And they're going to tell you it's a numbers game, make the calls, cold calls, following up. You learn all these basic X's and O's when it comes to sales. In 2022, you got to look at it a little bit different way. How do you grab somebody's attention in a time frame where they're so quick to jump to something else? Like news cycles are less than 24 hours now. You can pretty much get away with murder and then everybody forgets about it within the next week. So how do you stand out in the sales game when maybe you're not a big broker, you don't have all the technology or everything behind it? One thing I've been able to do is study a little bit of social selling. And with that, how do you convert leads online to a warmer call or a warmer lead, or even drive inbound leads from people without them knowing that you're selling them, right? People say that in logistics, most of the time it's relational, it's relationship business.
Hmm.
And if that's the case, then why are we trying to just go at them immediately and say, hey, we're a brokerage, this is what we do, these are the services we provide, do you need any extra capacity? Because I promise you, if they're in a decision-making position, they're getting that call or that email 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times a day, and they're giving you that generic answer. There's only about five different objections in logistics, and a couple of them is going to be, hey, are you an asset-based company? No, bye. All right. Hey, do you have 20 assets? No. All right, bye. We're not looking to onboard any new carriers right now, or RFPs next quarter. Like, it's the same stuff, but how do you overcome those? You overcome those with a relationship and start talking to somebody, building rapport on something other than freight. The way I've been able to do it is to be very personal on LinkedIn with my background. I do professional wrestling. I do podcasting. I'm a fitness fanatic. I love sports. I love gambling. All these different things. So I've applied these to grabbing inbound leads, and the best way that I've been able to do that is with polls, and commenting on people's stuff that already have a great reaction to it. Not creating the best content, but being the best content on the best content has been able to drag in inbound leads. And really polls. My polls, every single poll I do gets over 100 people polling it. And what I didn't realize is that these people were shipping managers, decision makers,
Hmm.
warehouse managers, these types of people, not just people in logistics, but people that actually ship the freight. And I would just reply, hey man, thanks for replying to the poll. I appreciate you. I also like X team, or I kind of agree with whatever they responded with. And it immediately opens up the conversation. And I've probably had tens of follow-up conversations that were very warm lead after just a sports poll or a movie poll or whatever it might be. So that's been my outside the box thinking when it comes to social selling.
No, I think that's great. And like it's something I preach a lot too. I like how you bring up the like relationship aspect of it because it's tough, right? To just immediately try to build a relationship with somebody like off of a cold email or a cold call. So having that presence on social media, it's like they're already getting to know you. So you're already getting that relationship. You talked a little bit about like incorporating the personal stuff in there. How important do you think that is to keep it professional versus including the personal things? I hear that debate on LinkedIn a lot.
Yeah, I've mentioned this a couple times. Like, what is professional, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
if you think about like business in the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, pre-internet, right? Professional was like your online gimmick, to speak in professional wrestling terms, or your gimmick to the outside world of what it is you're supposed to do, how important you might be, what's your resume, all these different things. So that's like what professional is. Like, no cursing, wear a suit, be in a uniform, be somewhere on time, only work from this one location. It's 2022. There's a lot of successful companies. I would argue and say the most successful companies are not professional at all. If you look at their CEOs and the people that founded these companies, like your Elon Musk, your Jeff Bezos, your Richard Branson, like these guys are not super professional with the way they go out. I mean, you look at like a Donald Trump. Yeah, Donald Trump, he
Mm-hmm.
looks professional, but he's not very professional with the way he acts. But that's his brand, and he was doing this before everybody else was in the '80s, and then look where he is now, right? So I think your personal brand is probably the most important aspect to your presence on, and the best way to do it is through LinkedIn. Don't be professional, be you. People want to work with people that are authentic and genuine, and they're not trying to be something that they're not. Like, why would you want to work with somebody and you think they're one way, and then you find out 6 months later, well, that guy was just tricking me the entire
Yeah.
time just to get my business? Well, that's a sleazeball thing to do. I will be straight up with whoever I'm dealing with the very first day, be completely transparent. That's my whole sales pitch. We will be transparent. We will not lie to you. It might not be what you want to hear, but we will not lie to you. And I want to get to know you before we even do business with you. So that's my whole deal. I think that it's extremely important, and a lot of people are scared. I think a lot of companies also don't want their people out there posting on LinkedIn because they want that professional look for their company. So it just depends on how small business is the best way to do it, or your own business. But I would want to work for a company that allows me to have a voice out there.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of answered the next question I had already, in terms of like building up the personal brand. So I was going to ask you if it's important to kind of tailor your messaging to whoever you think your audience is, to the shipping managers, to those customers. And there might be an element of that to it, but is it mostly just, hey, like, this is who I am and who, like, I want the people that this attracts? Is that more how you think about it?
Yeah, so I think my if you would call it my copy on my messages or whatever,
Sure.
I haven't gotten great at that yet. Like that's one of the things I'm actually studying right now. I'm trying to like take a couple courses on like how to get my copy better, like my writing and my hooks and stuff. But as far as like my content in general, it's just me. Like if
Mm-hmm.
I go to a wrestling event, if I go to a game, or if I have a podcast, or whatever, I'm going to show people, hey, this is what I do. Like this is me. This is my kid. This is my fiance. This is my house. This is what I drive. This is my family. Like get to know me for me. Like, if you see me driving down the road, hey, that might be that car that he posted, or but like some people would say that can come off like people are trying to brag or something. I don't necessarily find it that way. At this point, everyone loves reality TV, and that's why it's one of the biggest businesses out there. Like, just give people a little bit of a sneak peek of behind the scenes of your own reality, and that's what's going to bring them in, and they're going to find something that they relate with. And if they relate with you, that's the relationship, right? If they relate, then you got a relationship, then you can go into business. But you got to be able to relate with somebody first.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Who are some folks that you see, like, in the industry or outside the industry, who are doing this well right now?
Well, so I think there's a good little group of people. So you look at, and I've mainly dealt with all the guys, right? So
Yeah,
Matthew Leffler, the armchair attorney, I think he's doing a great job. He was on
I
my
know that.
podcast early, and I told him, I said, dude, you're going to blow up. The way you structure this, the way you talk, the way you analyze, the way you interview, you're going to blow up. And I think he's doing that right now, and he will. The freight coach, Chris Jolly, I think he does a great job of putting stuff out there and being an alternative news source for people in logistics. Obviously, the guys at Freight Waves, What the Truck, and all those other shows, they do a good
Hmm.
job of kind of being like our CNN, is the way I'd look at it. I do a bunch of air quotes when I'm not that those are bad. I'm just saying that's our
No, I
mainstream
get it.
media in
Yeah.
logistics. And then, I mean, you look at Trey Griggs. I mean, he's doing good things. He has his podcast that he puts out pretty much every day. I'm sure I'm leaving people out that also do good things. But if you look on the outside spectrum of that, like I love Gary V.
Hmm.
His messaging on putting out content. I love Patrick Bet David. Don't know if you follow him, but his content is second to none. And
Okay.
my favorite, bar none, out of everybody, well, Grant Cardone. We do Grant Cardone's Cardone University for ourselves. I also love his marketing tactics. But my favorite out of all of them is Alex Hormozy. If you don't know who Alex Hormozy is, check him out. He's fantastic. He's about 31 years old, worth $100 million. He's giving away all the secrets for free, pretty much. His book's like 99 cents. It is the best material out there right now. And he's young and he's modern and he's like going with the flow, but he's also picking the brain of all the guys that, passed the torch and carried the passive business before this, but like his marketing, bro, ridiculous. Like it's crazy.
I don't know him.
Yeah.
I'll check him out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. So for someone, I guess for someone new to the industry, who doesn't have the experience, where do you suggest they start? Like from the social selling standpoint, or just like in general?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say if you're new to the industry, or if you haven't even gotten into the industry, or if you're in any industry, right? I would say go to LinkedIn if you're looking for professionals. A lot of people are going to say your Instagrams, your Twitters, your Facebook, your TikTok. Yeah, I mean, if you have a product, maybe you can go there if you can find people that can buy it. But those are places you're going to get likes and followers, and you need like people that have money and people that can make decisions. Why not go to the one place, the virtual water cooler of every professional network, which is LinkedIn, because it's becoming the Facebook for professionals, not just merely a resume building platform. So go to LinkedIn and go to other people's content that already have a good following in the industry that you want to grab a following from, or your niche, right? So go to that, find their posts that do well, 100 plus posts or 100 plus likes or 100 plus comments, whatever. Read through the comments, don't just blindly comment, and put the best comment on their post. You want to be the top comment on the top content. That's the quickest way to grab attention. And then when you start doing that, the way I would say it is, you want to build a community, and building a community is just building up your network with connections. Like, you connect with as many people as you possibly can. Some people are like, I don't know that person, I'm not connecting. Bro, connect. You get like 100 new connections every week. You should be maxing that out by Monday. Like, connect with as many people as you possibly can. Go to the people that interact with the post. Connect with them first because they're active on LinkedIn, especially if it's a new post. Go into the like section. Figure out the ones that loved it, were curious, insightful. All the other ones, besides just clicking like because that's lazy, click the other ones, like the heart, the other one. Those people actually go into a little bit more detail. They're going to follow you. They're going to connect with you, and just build that up. Do it 100 at a time every week. And then guess what? At the end of the first year, you've got 5,200 connections, 5,200 followers, and you got a little bit of a community. And I guarantee you that when you post something, it's going to have 20 to 50 likes or comments or posts or whatever it is, if it's good stuff, if you're putting out good content. And if you're not, the people's going to let you know. The market will let you know, hey, this is not any good. Nobody wants to like it. But if you do, people will. But you got to actually try and practice and put it out there and risk it. Dude, I post something, I don't even care what anybody says. If one person says something cool, if 100 people say something cool, I'm going to post it, and I keep LinkedIn as like an online journal for myself sometimes. So that's my tips on getting known.
No, I like that a lot. I particularly like what you said about like reaching out to the folks who engage. I mean, this is something that I started doing a couple of years ago. And like you and I talked about this, I think, where if you liked my post, if you commented on my post, you're getting some sort of a message from me one way or another.
That's how we met.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I've been blown away by the reaction. I mean, at least half the people I reach out to are like, yeah, man, I'll jump on a quick phone call with you. And like my network has just blown up over the past couple of years just by doing that. And like, I was genuinely surprised by it.
Yeah. And I think obviously, you know, I've heard people say like your network is your net worth. Like, and I think it depends on who your network is, right? Or you're the average of your 5 closest people you're around. I don't necessarily believe that. Cause I mean, what if, you know, you just have like one really successful friend and the rest are just cool buddies like hang out with? I mean, it is what it is. But, you know, I do think that building up a network in the community is very, very, very strong in the, on the priority list. It's very high up there. Companies will think that, maybe you're doing something that's taken away from working. I would say that you're building up your own community, building up your own network, and doing something productive, because the more people that know you, the more people that know that company. So if you have a bunch of, 10 people in your company building up a personal brand to 10,000 people, now you got 100,000 people that know your company. So that's the way that big corporations should be looking at it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I hear pushback sometimes, like kind of getting to know other brokers. I mean, they're the competition. Like, what good does this do me? And like my reaction to that a lot of times is, well, one, if you're ever looking for a new job, like they're exactly who you want to be talking to. And two, there's plenty of freight out there, right? A lot of times, if you have a connection within the industry, maybe they have something that they can't service and they turn to you because they know that you excel in this area, right? I mean, having those connections in my mind is super important.
Yeah, and I've ran across that. There's been several opportunities with, buddies of mine that work at other brokerages and
Mhm.
places I've been, and they'll be like, "Hey, man, we can't do this, but you guys, do this kind of well. Would you like to quote it? And maybe I'll pass the customer off to you, see if you can start helping out with these lanes or this type of equipment runs and stuff." So, and it's worked. And the more people that can get along in this industry, the better off for the industry it is. It's the people that are just in strict competition with like other brokers that are holding us back. That's the ones that just want to be the best and they don't want anybody else to be successful or win. Those are the ones that are holding us back. And I get it; it's all about money. But at the same time, there's a bunch of money floating around the supply chain,
Mhm.
and the majority of the big brokers are all doing business with the same people. So I mean, it's just a laundering pretty much scheme in the grand scheme of it. The shippers.
Kinda, yeah. There's plenty of freight to go around. So the last question I
Yeah.
always ask folks, because these are about education, what's something that you've learned recently?
Oh wow. Um, I like to call myself a lifelong learner. I like to read quite a bit. One of the greatest things during the 75-day challenge I did, we talked about it when you did my show, but I was able to, read a lot and also get into a lot of audiobooks. And that's when I found Alex Ramosi, not the first time I ever saw his stuff, but when I actually educated myself on him and what he was doing. His book, it's $100 million marketing. It will blow you away. I didn't start really pushing my social media the way I've been doing it up until the past couple of months. I started kind of in January, like, hey, I'm gonna do better this year. But it was really the past few months that I really honed in on it when I started the challenge. And just listen to some of the things he says. I wouldn't say that I can like teach a class on things that I've learned right now and like give you all the secrets. I would just say that, one of the things that I learned was just stay consistent and try to do something every day. Do the boring stuff every day. Usually it's like if you don't want to do something, that's probably the thing that needs to be done. So and that's a lesson that he teaches, and it's a very just practical,
Yeah.
logical, simple explanation. But everybody looks for the secret word, the secret sentence, the secret paragraph, the whatever. I mean, they pay thousands of dollars to go to seminars just to hear one thing to like motivate them and get them going. It really is do the thing that you don't want to do and do it as well as you can. If you do it over and over and over again, you'll eventually get really good at it and you'll get the results that you want.
I like that. I think it's a great way to kind of like wind this up. So like that was all great advice. And I really appreciate you taking the time to talk today. I've said this before, we're intentionally keeping these short so people actually listen to them, but like they're complicated subjects. There's always more to learn. Gunnar, if someone wants to reach out to you, how do they do it?
Yeah. So if you want to be on the podcast or become a guest or whatever, you can go to cwgpodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up. You can go to the YouTube channel, CWG Podcast, and hit me up as well. You can go to LinkedIn, probably the best way to get in contact with me. Gunnar, the People's Captain Miller on LinkedIn. Of course, I'm on other social medias, but I'm probably not going to follow you, accept your follow, or respond to you on those. So if you want to get with me, LinkedIn is the best way to do it.
All right. Sounds good, man. Thanks again for being on. And I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more from you and the group at 12 Point.
Thanks for having me, Nick.